Morning watchers, Scott at SE Landscaping, and as you can probably see, this isn't one of our regular vehicles. This is our 13-metre cherry picker, and the reason we've got the cherry picker today is we've had it all week and we've been putting Christmas decorations up. Now ordinarily this is a stressful week and lots of things go wrong, and my stress levels are way up. This week, by making a few alterations early in the season, things have gone well. Things have gone to plan, and it's been a good week. And Christmas lights, if I can just explain how I got into Christmas lights. Numerous years ago, I won a contract and it included putting Christmas lights up. And part of putting Christmas lights up was somebody from the local council would help me put them up because he'd put them up previous. And when it came to that time of year, someone from the council wasn't available, so it was dropped on me, something I'd never done before. So I had to seek a bit of advice from someone else. Needed IPAF licenses for the lift, for instance. Needed an electrician on standby. Needed to learn how to strap things to lampposts. And we got there. And we built on that, because we built on that one job of Christmas lights was because our local county council used to charge, if anybody's got a lamppost in the village and you see these Christmas lights that's put up at a certain time of year, our county council charged £400 to put one up and take one down and plug it in. And what that entails is getting the lift, going up the lamp column, and basically putting a banded fixing round, which it takes 15 minutes to do a lamppost. It takes 3 minutes to take it down. So if you imagine 18 minutes per column, they're getting £400. You can do 3 an hour. That's put up, take down. So they're making £1,200 an hour. So a second local council approached me and asked me would I be interested in putting their Christmas lights up, because they've been quoted £8,000. So I half the bill. And for this council, it means that in 2 days I make £4,000. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, heck, that's you're ripping their eyeballs out. I'm not, because the other company was charging double, and they had another quote who was way above, and it's the same again. And all you're doing here is you're hiring an electrician in. You're hiring a cherry picker in at sort of £160 a day. So for those 2 days for the last 5 years, I've had what's called a payday, which is making £4,000. And like I say, my outgoings with the electrician and the cherry picker and things were sort of about £600. So time you take your tax off, I was clearing £3,000 for 2 days. You don't get that every day in this trade. But like I say, it is a lot cheaper than what they were getting, and it was a lot cheaper than what they were quoted off the next contractor. So a good payday now and again. You don't get them every day in this trade. Some days you're not making as much, and other days you're hardly making anything. It swings and roundabouts with contract work. Everybody thinks that, oh, we need to go out and make £250, £300 this day. With my contract work, some days you could be up here and making 700, other day you might be making 200, but it balances out because it's what those jobs are. One day you might be just ploughing through loads of big areas of grass. The next day you might be doing fiddly bits for another council. So you've got to work it out over jobs, if that makes sense. Anyway, just a short one, just following on from last week's video and the new work that we picked up. And if I can explain the last video, the job that I went to price for the guy who has the factory over the road, we were successful in that. That job is going to be worth £5,200 a year basic, but with the upselling of potentially some car parks to clean and other things, potentially get £7,000 out of that job. That's what I'm thinking, which is an in and out. So that's quite a good job, and anybody who's thinking what are you getting for the 5k or the 7k, depending how the job goes, I will show this job because it's quite an open site and I can get some good footage next year, so I will show you what I'm achieving for that money. 2 more inquiries from the brochures that I put out. I am going to look at the jobs, but like I say, I'm going to stack them high because I don't really want these now that estate's full. In hindsight, like I say, the brochures were a bad thing in the end, but you don't know things. You don't know somebody's just going to walk over to you and say, look, can you come over the road and give us a price? this trade's so strange. You could go to one site the whole year and not get anybody coming to you. You could go to one site every week and get another business phone you up every week. I've seen your van over the road. So that's where we are with that. Some of the jobs that I've given up, I've passed on to a couple of contractors, and I've also had inquiries from other watchers of the channel, 2 guys in decent areas as well, who were interested in work, who were asking, have I any work to give up that I'm giving up in their areas? And what I've said, I've took the details. We're going to have a meet-up, and what it provides me with is when people phone up in these areas now or email, I've got someone I can pass on to rather than just saying no. I can say, look, I can recommend this contractor in your area who already works with me, or I know the work's quality, and I can pass work on that way. And then you're not sort of just, because these people will never ring you again. That's the thing. Whereas if you're passing them on to other contractors and things, you've still got that relationship there in the future. If you ever need work, or you need to speak to them, or the contractor who's doing the work can't do everything, you can drop back in there. They can recommend you back then. So, for instance, if one of the contractors is looking after a site and they only cut grass, and the company wants a tree surgeon, and they say to that contractor, do you know a tree surgeon? And then that contractor says, Scott, who you originally rang, is a tree surgeon, or he knows a tree surgeon, and we can sort it out that way. So potentially you're filling winter work. Emails through the summer this year, as I've explained in the past, have been absolutely crazy. I could have employed another 6, 7, 8 people, but the business is going that way. The money's staying here now that I've formulated this plan. So it's going to be a very profitable 2023, 2024 and 2025. And what I've done is I've got a couple of contracts running out next year. And you don't always have to wait for a contract to run out to contact a company. And what I mean is I've got a couple of council contracts running out next year. Councils precept at the start of the year, and what a precept is they sit down in December, January and say, right, this is all our outgoings for the next year. So we've got insurance, we've got a contractor, we've got Christmas lights, we've got tax, we've got drain cleaning, etc., window cleaning. They add it all up, and then they precept and they go to the main council, which is the county council, and say, we want £100,000 this year to cover our bills. And that's how they get the money. The parish councils get the money. So what I've done to these 2 contractors, I went to the last month's meetings, because they meet every month in a village hall. It's a bit like the Vicar of Dibley, if you've ever seen it. 6 or 7 people around a table, and they talk about the village and how improvements they can make. So I turned up at these 2 councils. I keep saying contractors, it's contractors on my brain. I turned up at these 2 councils and I said, look, I've been here for 12 years. You've renewed me contract after contract. You're happy with the work. I provide a good service. Now I'm willing to do something for you. We're heading into recession. You, as much as everybody else, needs to save money. How would you like to give me a 2-year extension based on the same figures that you've paid for the last 3 years? Now, yes, things are going up, bills are rising and everything, but I can still do this and make a tidy profit. So don't worry about saying, how can you do this? I can do it. So they both came back a month later. The clerks phoned me up and said, we're going to send you a letter. You've got the extensions. So what that means is the contracts that I was talking about, which give me safety till 2025, this is more contracts to give me safety till 2025. And I'm happy in 2025 that 4 or 5 of these large councils I'm working for now, which is a small amount of my work. So people saying, well, you're putting all your eggs in these small baskets. These small baskets I'll have till 2030. I'm very, very confident that this work will keep going. And after 2030, if I end up just doing 2 days a week, pottering around with no worries, that's the way it is. Because, as I've explained, investments and pensions and things are sorted for me. The next few years, I'm going to keep banking my pension up, and that'll protect my future. So that's just a brief video on the sites and a bit of an explanation of what's happening. Not much on the ground, like I say, this week. Here's a couple of shots of a bit of Christmas work. And as you can see, some of them are pretty large trees that we're putting up, 24, 26 footers. And the those people at the bottom on there aren't just Lego men from a photo. They're actually people in the distance, so you can see how far you have to go up with these machines to put lights and things on. But it's something that's been fun this year and enjoyable. It's another trade where I have got rid of a few jobs which are further afield on the Christmas lights front, but then I have done 2 Christmas lights that were last minute that I got dropped on me last Monday. People asking if we can do a few jobs to help them out, which I've said we'll do as a one-off. So we've brought a bit of extra income in, and it's, like I say, once again, it's been an epic, very profitable week. So that's pretty much it for today. Just a brief explanation, and hopefully next week we will be back on some tools, so we shall get some footage of either hedge cutters, weed brushes or something like that, and we'll get some proper garden videos back out there. So thanks for watching. If you're not already doing so, like, subscribe, hit the button, and let's get these viewers past 2K for Christmas. If we do get past 2K for Christmas, there may be a little treat for one viewer. So stay tuned, and we will see you on the next one.